This is Optimal Finance Daily, episode 218, The Exact Amount to Maximize Happiness by JMoney of budgetsaresexy.com. And I am Dan, your host and narrator here on Optimal Finance Daily. Each and every Monday through Friday, I read to you from some of the best personal finance blogs on the planet. And I know this week, between Christmas and New Year's, can sometimes be a little bit of a slog. I know it can be for me, a little bit of a letdown if you have to go back to work between the two holidays. So hopefully this podcast, a few of these tips, will keep you going as we head toward 2017. And I'm going to keep the intro nice and short for you today. All I ask is that if you do enjoy this show, please do stick around all the way to the end. So with that, let's get right to the post as we optimize your life. The Exact Amount to Maximize Happiness by JMoney of budgetsaresexy.com. I started writing this post over 3 weeks ago, and right smack in the middle of it, I got a call that we were going to have a baby the next day. I had to stop writing it, of course, against my hustling nature, though I did sneak on to share the 2-week early surprise. But interestingly enough, I've thought about this article almost every day since. You might not find the idea as mind-blowing as I did, but I really wanted to share it with you on the off chance that you do. And hopefully it creeps into your mind and sets up camp for a while too. There could be worse things stuck in there. It all came from this paragraph I read over at milesdividendmd.com. Quote, "My fundamental belief about spending is not that we should all spend as little as possible. It's that we should spend the exact amount to maximize our own happiness, no more and no less. So if a purchase is not worth the freedom that it will cost, that's when I'm apt to choose to say no." End quote. Bam! The exact amount to maximize our own happiness. Love that. Imagine if every dollar that left your wallet went towards some form of happiness, and efficiently. Well, it could, and I bet you're already doing this to some degree without even realizing it. In fact, I started thinking about past experiences and purchases of my own throughout time, and it started to sink in even more. For example, 1. My car. A cherry red Cadillac DeVille over 20 years old. Some see it as a luxury car, those double my age, while others see it as straight-up ghetto, people my age. But it's the perfect concoction of what I desire out of a car, something that gets me from A to B, but just as important, something that makes me feel good driving around in. And guess what? A Benz or Rover could do the same thing too, which is exactly why people splurge so much on them and why I don't have a real problem when they do, so long as it fits within their priorities and financial game plan. Fortunately for me, however, I gain just as much joy pimping around in my Caddy that cost me a whopping $3,000 as I would a ride at $60,000. And that's what maximizing your money is about, spending just the right amount to reach your joy level without going overboard and having the ratio flip-flop on you, i.e. if I had picked up a new Rover instead of the Caddy. Two things can bring you the same amount of happiness, but you go with the one best for your wallet. 2. Entertainment. There are a lot of different ways to spend your money to entertain yourself every day or weekend, but a lot of things can cost you incredibly less for the same amount, if not more, of happiness. Like hanging out with friends or going for walks or even road tripping. A cruise or a night out at the club drinking yourself to oblivion can also be loads of fun, believe me, I know. But the trade-off with money just gets much crazier in that regard. But of course, it's not bad to splurge every now and then either. You just need to keep it all in mind and realize fun comes in many cheaper varieties too. It's all about the perfect concoction of money and happiness. 3. My hair. As many of you know, I rock a mohawk. It requires exactly one pair of scissors, a set of shaving clippers, one bottle of hairspray, not to be used all at once, and a beautiful wife who cuts it for me each and every month for free. Now, could it be even sexier if I took myself to a professional who could really jazz it up some more? Or, God forbid, give me a cool adult haircut? Possibly. But again, why spend more money for not that much more return? Especially when you're perfectly happy with the way your darling significant other works it. Thanks, honey. Except for that one time you clipped one of my spikes right before our wedding, but I've totally forgotten about that, don't worry. 4. My clothes. Jeans, t-shirts, hoodies. The perfect combo. I have to have suits and other things in the wardrobe for the special occasions, but all my money that goes into clothes, which is almost zilch at this point, and they're falling apart, is on those 3 staples there. Because over time, I've whittled it down to the bare necessities to keep me unnaked and smiling. I could be even happier with $500 jeans and $100 tees instead of $30 and $10 ones, but not significantly more, so I stick to the TJ Maxxes and maximize my savings. See what I did there? Or wait, was that their marketing strategy the whole time and I'm just now catching on? 5. My house. Now, 7 years ago, I was doing the opposite of finding the perfect mixture of happiness and money by splurging on a $360,000 house, which I shouldn't have done. But nowadays, I've got my mind on straight, and when it came to move, we chose as close to the perfect house as we could. An historic-y, single-family home within the city, but not too far in, with just the exact number of bedrooms we needed. Nothing more, nothing less. We could have gotten a place smack dab in the middle of downtown, which would have been a dream as far as I'm concerned. But again, the money didn't justify the jump in happiness. How much more joy would I get out of living blocks closer to coffee shops for the drastic bump in pay? Not enough for us to sign on the dotted line, I'll tell you that. 6. My wife. Now, I could have scored a supermodel with millions and millions of dollars, but yeah, right, I'm going there. Anyway, my wife is perfect, and she didn't cost a thing, thank you very much. Had you there for a second, though, didn't I? So, all this to say that your mentality with happiness is key here with money. And the more you can keep this in the back of your head, the more money you'll have to put to work elsewhere, like, say, paying off your debt or investing in your retirement accounts, etc. Sometimes you can't get around paying high amounts for stuff that's important to you, but most times there's a nice alternative that does the same trick for much less. And that's really the point with all this today. You got to do your best to maximize your happiness for the least amount of money. The perfect concoction. And you just listened to the post titled The Exact Amount to Maximize Happiness by Jay Money of budgetsaresexy.com. Now, if you are enjoying this show and want to help keep us going for as long as possible, there are all sorts of things you can do, both big and small, that will make a huge impact. We put a list together to help at oldpodcast.com. Just look for the How to Help page, or you can go directly to oldpodcast.com/support. We would greatly appreciate it. And tomorrow we're going to continue this week between Christmas and New Year's with the start of a two-parter from the always entertaining Mr. Money Mustache. So stay tuned for that on Thursday, where your optimal life awaits.
Hello, Life Optimizer. This is Justin Malik, creator and producer of this podcast, but also Optimal Living Daily, the show where I read to you from even more blogs covering finance, productivity, minimalism, personal development, and more from incredible bloggers like Derek Sivers, Zen Habits, Mark and Angel, The Minimalists, and all the ones you hear on this show too. So if you enjoyed today's episode and like taking amazing blogs on the go, come on over to Optimal Living Daily and subscribe to that one too. And together, we'll start optimizing your life.
You've been listening to Optimal Finance Daily. Be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date on each new episode and head to oldpodcast.com. That's OLDpodcast.com for a free gift as well as more actionable tips and resources to help you maximize your potential. Thanks for joining us, and remember, your optimal life awaits.